How's it going, everybody? My name is Technical Sergeant Tim, and I'm a section chief here at the Vehicle Management Schoolhouse in beautiful Port Hueneme, California for the United States Air Force. Or, as you guys have more commonly come to know me as, Ryan. Now I'm going to talk to you today about creativity as a construct. And what I mean by that is what motivates other people to perceive a certain individual as creative. Is it their family or their upbringing? How about the relationships that they maintain or the life experiences that they've had? How about formal or informal education? Or let me ask you this, are all creators the same? Or is it instead these differences amongst the different creators that motivate them to adopt a creative nature? Now, I don't have all these answers. I'm not going to even pretend to lie to you. However, I will provide you a roadmap as to a common understanding for what makes a creative person creative. Now, before I begin, are there any questions from anybody in the class? So, I got a question. Are you talking about like boys versus girls? Not necessarily. I mean, you did highlight a difference, so are all creators the same? No. However, are there similarities versus differences? Yes, wholeheartedly, 100%. And that's what we're going to address here today. Does that answer your question? Yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, I'm pretty psyched. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty pumped about this. Yeah, I really want to hear what you have to say, so keep it going. You are an enthusiastic individual, and I appreciate that. I guess since you're so pumped, let's just jump right into it. Let's start with the culture of a couple of different creators. The first one hails from Italy, but we also have New York, Cuba and Italy, Oklahoma, Arizona, and New Mexico, along with Germany and Illinois, and then finally Oregon. So right off the bat, we have identified 7 different creators from 7 different walks of the earth, from different cultures, different backgrounds right off the bat, which I think is awesome because it highlights that creativity is very broad. It's not confined to one single culture. Now, couple that with this guy right here, which happens to be a filmmaker. We also have a physicist and a professor, a fiction writer, a novelist, essayist, poet, and overall professor, writer. Literary is his expertise. We have a professor. We have a professor and a mechanic. And then finally, a contemporary performance artist. Again, it's very vast. It's very different as far as what makes them a creator. What's their field? It might be film, it might be writing. Most of them have in common that they love teaching their craft, but other than that, no two are the same just yet. I think that's pretty cool. What about you? Yeah, I mean it's kind of cool, but like, haven't you ever heard the saying that those who can do and those who can't teach? So is it really that big a deal? I mean, they teach something. I mean, they did a lot more than just teach. I want you to understand that right now. Each person had a profound impact on their respective fields. This guy, for instance, was nominated for 12 separate Academy Awards. This person investigated the Challenger shuttle incident as well as created the atomic bomb. We have a Native American Renaissance leader here and somebody who headed an entire philosophy department at the university that they taught at. Not to mention, we have somebody who belonged to a communist and fascist organization as well as the Nazi Party. So I'm not condoning those last two. However, it does promote differences within their careers, differences within their outreaches. You understand what I'm saying? For real? I didn't know they actually contributed to, society and stuff. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty cool. Go ahead. Continue. I want to hear this. All right, well, let's talk about upbringing then, shall we? One common thread that I noticed amongst a lot of these creators is spirituality. So we got quite a bit. Let me just put this up here. Quite a bit that were raised in a spiritual culture. And what I mean by spiritual is that they believed in something. They believed in, let's say, the earth, for instance. We also got Roman Catholic, traditional Roman Catholic. Another Roman Catholic turned atheist, so they ended up not believing in any higher power, but that was still a belief, right? Now, along with that, what about difficulties growing up? For instance, this one couldn't really read or write. It took him a long time to learn. Or this one, who grew up in the 1960s Chicago era where she was surrounded by violence and criminal matters and activism that really helped shape what she does now as a creator. All of these individuals were in a spiritual-esque type of culture that helped form the person that they eventually became as an adult. Yeah, real quick. So, spirituality, like, let's say hypothetically, I believed in flaming hot Cheetos. That's right. Like, what if I believed in the way that they make me feel? What then? Yes. I mean, weird example, as you would say, weird flex, right? Isn't that what the kids are saying now? But, I mean, if it made you have a better emotional well-being, then yes, I guess believing in, Cheetos, flaming hot Cheetos is something that you could grasp as spirituality. Whatever, dude. That was a weird one, but yes, I guess you could. What I mean by spirituality instead is just something that nurtures your well-being as a person, something that you intently believe in, and that you can, I don't want to say project on others, but you can relate to others on a common plane. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. This dude's killing all my jokes, dude. This substitute sucks. Continue, Ryan. Hey, cut it out. I'm old school. I'll throw a book at you. I don't even care. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But this is important stuff. Okay, so I need you to pay attention a little bit. Now let's talk about their family, their relationships. Okay, so for instance, this guy had 2 siblings, a wife, and unfortunately lost 2 separate children. One was a miscarriage and the other one passed away when it was only a month old, which contributed to his work of art. It was actually very dark and very morbid. It's what he was known for. This guy was very close to his parents, had very supportive parents growing up. He had 3 total marriages, 2 divorces, one that stuck until he passed, and he also had 2 children, one adopted, one biologically his. This guy right here had supportive parents. This is a common theme, is that I noticed that supportive parents largely contributed to the majority, if not all, of these creators. So this one had supportive parents, also a loving wife, and also a daughter. This guy, his parents were school teachers and helped kind of push his creative side. Very supportive in their own right as far as spirituality and understanding his heritage. He was never married, never had children. This one up here had very supportive parents. Again, that common thread, that common theme that I noticed. One wife, but had no children. This one right here, also married 3 times. Divorced twice, one that's stuck. Has 3 total children, all biologically his, and was the oldest sibling. And then we got this individual here, who had a supportive mother, who still goes to all of her recitals and performances, was divorced as well as having one daughter. Now, I kind of highlighted a little bit supportive parents, okay? What I didn't highlight is that a lot of these actually had failed marriages. So it shows that they tried something, they attempted something, but did not succeed the first time. That's something that's very important to a creator, is that you don't just give up after something doesn't work a single time. Yes, we have these outliers over here that were never married, but for the most part, each one of these creators tried something and failed at least once, if not more. Does that make sense to you? No, it totally does. It totally makes sense. And I apologize. I was kidding. I'm just, trying to goof around. So I actually do really find this intriguing. So please continue, because I do want to learn the stuff. No worries at all. I was joking too. I'm not actually going to throw a book at you, so please don't tell your parents about that. Anyway, let's move on. So we haven't exactly talked about their personalities yet. Each creator brings something different to the table. Some of them have similarities, yes, but the majority of them are very different personality-wise. Take, for instance, this first guy was very charismatic and passionate and enthusiastic. Some would call him charismatic. He was very confident in his abilities and didn't take anybody's outside criticism seriously. He knew what his self-worth was, and he pressed forward with what he was trying to accomplish. This next guy was very curious, very playful, passionate in his own right. He actually encouraged playfulness and curiosity within his own career field, finding that people that didn't were boring. This third creator was very observant and imaginative. He kind of had to be, right? I mean, he didn't know how to write, he didn't know how to read until much later than the other children around him. So he had to create this observation and this internalization of the imagery that he saw, which later provided the foundation for his work and his career. We have another passionate creator right here, but he was very authentic. He approached his career in a very caring and nurturing way, and he was very prideful in his heritage. This creator right here was very determined. He loved incremental processes and understanding exactly how things worked. Step-by-step processes is what his forte was. He enjoyed philosophy and the understanding behind different actions, but he was actually fairly easily swayed if he could not understand a process. We have this next creator right here. He was very fun, passionate, prideful, caring, and nurturing of others, which largely contributes to what he continues to do today. And then our last creator is very fun-loving. She is deeply nurturing, deeply caring, and chooses to find humor in pretty much everything that she does. She was subject to some trauma early on in her life, which largely contributes to her body of work, but she uses humor as a way to almost escape and instead bring joy to others and highlight very real issues that we have amongst society. I think it's pretty cool. What do you think? I mean, I do like it, but were they actually educated? I mean, I know they did stuff, but what about their schooling? Did they go to a community college or what? I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because one major commonality amongst all of these creators presented in front of you is that they attended some sort of formal education, formal higher education. Now, don't get me wrong, there are exceptions. This first guy right here was a college dropout. He attended school in Rome just to satisfy his parents once, but in reality he dropped out after a couple of weeks and got picked up by a magazine writing articles that he'd been following since childhood. It was kind of like a childhood dream of his, And so he assumed that role, and then his career took off from there. But other than that, everybody else got advanced degrees. So this first guy right here got a bachelor's from MIT and a master's as well as a PhD at Princeton. Now this person right here got a degree in literature, so coinciding with his chosen career path. This person got a doctorate from Stanford, as well as 12, yes, I said 12, honorary degrees from various American universities. This creator got a Master of Fine Arts, which has allowed her to be a professor at New York Institute of Art. This creator right here has 2 associates, a bachelor's, and is almost done with his master's program, which is enabling him to further his career as well as develop his skills for later in life. And then finally, this guy got an advanced degree in philosophy, which allowed him to teach not only in Germany, but also in Japan. Everybody, at one point or another, followed their education, with the exception of this guy. But even still, informal education came quite abundantly for him as far as writing in different journals and then filmmaking. But everybody else had both formal and informal education in abundance, which allowed them to perform at their peak within their chosen career paths. I think it's awesome. What about you?
No, I do like it. I really do. This stuff is pretty cool. But what is that? What is that? Like laminate? What do you got in front of you there? Because I see the puzzles. What's that other stuff?
You are a very, very observant student. Yes, these are laminates that I did print on. But stick with me here, all right? So notice that these puzzle pieces, these 7 individuals with 5 puzzle pieces, have the same color code that makes up a whole person. Why I chose to do that is because, yes, I talked about similarities, yes, I talked about differences, but each person in their own right embraced their passions and chose to be creative about it. Not only were they content in the general guidelines of their careers, instead they decided to branch out and venture and promote not only themselves, but the betterment of our society, the betterment of their culture, and they were very successful in their own right. So what I'm getting at here is that everybody can be a creator. Everybody has the ability to impact themselves, their culture, their career fields, whatever you choose. You just have to decide that you want to be creative and then practice. It's not going to come easy. Each one of these guys have their trials and tribulations, but you do have to put forth effort, be willing to fail, and ultimately you will be creative in your own mind. So, to reveal, Federico Fellini, Richard Feynman, Italo Calvino, N. Scott Mummaday, Karen Finley, Eugene Herringel, and even me. We can all be creators. What's important is that you practice and that you believe in yourself. And not only believe in yourself, but you got to appreciate that you are guiding your children. A lot of these members, these creators, had supportive parents that helped them, that nurtured their creative side. So please be cognizant that not only are you creating for yourself, but you are developing common practice within your own household and within your old community. Believe in yourself.
Guys, give it up. This dude, yes. Yes. Yes.
No. Hold your applause. I know I like this stuff as well, but it's not worth all that. Thank you though. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna put you guys on break because I'm tired of rambling, so you guys can self-study or whatever. But I have been Technical Sergeant Ryan Tim. I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate your support. So have fun with your flaming hot Cheetos. Bye, guys.